Hey there, friends. I've been thinking we all have our strengths, right? I can do this, but I'm not so great at that. I'm pretty good at talking to people, but I'm not so great at adding things into a website or app. Oops. I love speaking, sharing stories, but social media, all those hashtags and algorithms, yeah, that's a jungle I haven't quite figured out yet. Coming up with ideas that bring folks together? I'm all about it. Bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I don't exactly get along, but that's okay because someone out there is good at those things, and when we work together, magic happens. See, Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us great on our own. But imagine how much stronger we are when we bring all those talents together. That's what Community Pay It Forward is all about. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working together to make a difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's find out together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your business can be seen because people know your business will offer hope to organizations like Todd Lingle of CARES Foundation. CARES Foundation is a proud mission partner of Community Pay It Forward. CARES Foundation is dedicated to educating young drivers of the dangers of impaired and distracted driving. Every sale through Community Pay It Forward helps support incredible organizations like the CARES Foundation.
What if every small business purchase counts? What if every purchase could change a life? With Community Pay It Forward, your business becomes a force for good. Join the movement. Get listed. Make impact with every transaction, new customers. Your business, their mission. One app, one community. Download now at communitypayitforward.us.
Kind of funny when you take and you're looking through everything and you start to remember, wow, I only had 1 year to make the changes I wanted to make. And here we are 1 year later and the changes still are not made, right? So anyway, hey, everybody, welcome to Footprints Forward. Welcome to 2026. I hope everyone had a very, very fulfilling, safe, and fun New Year, holiday season. And, I hope that it continues and we work together to not just make this the best year for you, but make this the best year for us. Let's maybe let's concentrate on that way, the word us instead of just me. Let's really focus on us, on all of us out there. Because all of us working together, all of us going in the same direction. I think if we focus on this, we can really make a huge statement to everyone out there who has any part in maybe not intentionally bringing us down, but they do bring us down. Okay, and look, again, it may not be intentional that it's happening, but by God, it's happening anyway. So we're going to start something brand new today. And this was inspired by the miracle of the season, which, again, I apologize for all the technical problems. We are working right now to build the playlist to where you can go through and you can watch every segment of that show And you know what? You can take and watch it for 37 hours if you like by just taking in. Why you would watch it for 37 straight hours? Because it's a great show, because you get to see wonderful things like the interview that you're going to see a little bit later on with Les Simpson and his friends. I encourage you to watch this. And Les broke my heart in this interview, because he told a story I had never heard before, and it was such a heartfelt story, and it made me respect the man so much more. So I encourage you to watch that after we introduce our brand new series. It's called pACT Channel Presents Celebrations of the Spirit. We are going to talk about everything that's upcoming and now, of course, past, in which actually today is a celebration. And as soon as we watch this and I remember what it is, I'll wish you all a happy whatever it is. I think it might be Three Kings Day. I can't remember correctly. But what we're going to do is the first Monday of every month, we're going to get together and we're going to talk about. Yes, it is also very interesting. Thank you, John. How you doing, brother? My brother Santa, uh, taking a vacation in warm climates right now, all relaxing in his Santa swimsuit, on a beach. Nah, he's in Minnesota. He's freezing his butt off. So, but anyway, John, I want to thank you for all the work that you put in for the miracle. Again, we did have our issues with it this year. We will be doing better next year. But the celebrations of the Spirit is about talking about all the celebrations that are upcoming. I did this for one reason only. I really enjoyed learning about how people celebrate during the holidays. I really enjoyed that, and I really found it very, very inspirational, and I found it extremely educational for myself. And I know a couple people out there who have sent me messages said, I never knew that there was such a closeness between some of these holidays. We want to keep this up. So the first Monday of every month, we are going to introduce you to what is being celebrated on that month. And we're going to start right now with the pACT Channel Presents Celebrations of the Spirit for January. Good Monday morning, everyone. It's me, Zach Clayton, with Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. Last week, I went on briefly, and I came on here briefly, and I was telling you about some of the changes that we're going to be making. One of the biggest changes that I wanted to make was, I guess this is a little bit of self-grandizing, but I also want to think that other people enjoyed it as well. I got some pretty positive feedback, so I want to make sure that we're going to continue to do this and continue to possibly grow and help create that knowledge of that people are looking for at times. And we're going to continue to the first Monday of every month, in which that would be today, obviously. We're going to start a new program. Okay. So I'd like to welcome you all to the pACT Channel Presents Celebrations of Spirit, where every month we explore the traditions, the stories, and the sacred moments that shape our world. In a time where so much pulls us apart, these celebrations remind us of what brings us together: hope, meaning, and the shared human spirit. Whether you're here to learn, to reflect, or to reconnect with your own roots, this is the right place. Let's step into this month's journey. So what we're doing is we're going to continue what we were doing with the miracle of the community and miracle of the season. Sorry, and we're going to talk about all of the different things that are happening in January in different religions. Okay, we're going to let you know what's out there, what's available for everyone. Maybe this gives you a chance or the curiosity to take and go and study a little bit about other cultures, to learn a little bit more about other cultures. So, obviously, there's going to be some ones that it's a lot heavier than others, but this is going to be something that we are going to do on the first Monday of every month, right here on Footprints Forward. Another way to try to take and help find a pathway for people who need this pathway. Okay, again, everyone heals different. We heard the story, and as a matter of fact, we're going to be replaying the story today. We're going to replay the portion with Les Simpson, where he really talks about how him finding God saved his life. Now, look, I would love to hear somebody else come with the story from their own culture. I would love to hear the stories of how your life was saved, what it was in your life that made the big difference. QR code up in the corner is the best way for you to do that. You can come on, you can tell us what's going on. We're also looking for people to take in and get involved and help become producers of this show. So, January 1st, which is obviously already gone, but the Solemnity of Mary, Mother of God, honors Mary's role in the incarnation of Jesus and her place in the salvation history. It's also a global day of prayer for peace. Some of the activities: people attend Mass or prayer services, they light a candle for peace, they reflect on new beginnings and compassion. They share a family blessing or gratitude ritual. And so there are okay, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why that didn't come out. Uh, you can find different YouTube channels, and I don't know why it didn't give me. I don't know why it didn't give me the specific YouTube channel, but you can find different YouTube channels if you take and search this Solemnity of Mary, Mother of God. Let me see if I can do this here real quick. And I'm sorry about this. This is very, very unprofessional, but we're going to see what we can do here. Yes, all right. So, just to let everyone know, you can find more about this this celebration. And once again, this is a Christian or a Catholic celebration. You can find much more about it by visiting this Facebook channel. Or this okay. let's try this again. I don't understand why that didn't give me a link. Real professional radio here. All right, here we go. This is a little bit better. So you'll be able to take and go here, and you'll be able to find out a little bit more. This will also be posted in the information from below about the description of the show. On January 2nd, it was the Feast of the Saints, Basil, the Great, Gregory, and Feast of Saints, Basil, and the Great. Okay. Feasts of Saints, Basil the Great, and Gregory Nazianzen. Nazianzen. Some of these names are just ridiculous, folks, okay? Once again, this is a Christian religion. Eastern and Western celebration. And it celebrates two very important theologians. And it really scares me because now I've got to try to say their name again. It celebrates two influential theologians who shaped early Christian doctrine and defended the divinity of Christ during the Arian controversy. I'm trying to get the playlist to where you can go and watch a little bit more about this. Some of the activities include reading a short biography of the saints, share a reflection on leadership and courage, prepare a simple meal inspired by Greek or Cappadocian traditions, and the YouTube channel you can find when it comes to Feast of the Saints. And I think that we're just going to leave it at Feast of the Saints. That way I don't butcher their names again. But the YouTube channel you can find is going to be right there. Once again, it will be attached to the information below. This will on these YouTube channels, it will discuss Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America and the Biblical Project for historical context. So it will. There's a lot of different things that you can take and look for online. So, and next month, I promise you will be better. I will not be so distracted because now I know what I am doing wrong. So I do apologize. But on January 3rd, it's the 12th night, which means the 12th night of the 12 nights of Christmas. All right. So again, I do apologize for this. This is our first time. It's still inexcusable, but I didn't know. This is also a Christian celebration. So we're 3 days in and already 3 Christian celebrations. This marks the end of the 12 days of Christmas and the eve of Epiphany. Some of the activities include baking a king cake, host a small gathering with music and storytelling, take down Christmas decorations in a ritual of gratitude. Here is the YouTube channel where they also discuss a couple of the YouTube channels you can go to are the History Channel, Holiday Origins, and English Heritage, the 12th Night Traditions. Plus, you can go here to this Lindsay Wood and her channel is what I've got in parentheses here. So, or in the explanation here. So, and then of course you've got January 6th. Okay, so I guess we didn't have a celebration for the 3rd. So we've got 1, 2, 5, and 6. So no 3rd or 4th. And you've got the Epiphany. The Epiphany is one of them that we were talking about on the show, on the program of Miracle of the Season. And it commemorates the visit. By the way, Epiphany, Three Kings Day, is a global Christian celebration, commemorates the visit of the Magi to Jesus and symbolizes the revelation of Christ to the world. Some of the activities are you can bless your home with chalk. And I didn't see that one before. So 20 plus C plus M plus B equals 26. Share gifts or sweets. Attend a Three Kings parade. Make Rosca de Reyes a Latin American tradition. A couple of the YouTube channels you can search out is YouTube Catholic Online or Spanish-speaking channels like El Mundo de los Niños for cultural traditions. You can also go here to Greg Connolly's page and find out a little more about Epiphany or Three Kings celebration. On January 12th, we have the Baptism of the Lord. And this is a Western Christian celebration, marks the baptism of Jesus. I don't know why I did that, but sorry about that. Anyway, baptism of the Lord, Western Christian, marks the baptism of Jesus in the Jordan River and the beginning of his public ministry. It reflects on some of the activities are reflecting on personal renewal. Visit a river or body of water for a symbolic moment. Share a story. You can share a story of meaningful life transitions. And a couple of the YouTube channels you can look up are The Chosen, Contextual Storytelling, or Bible Project for Visual Theology. So The Chosen or the Bible Project are two of the YouTube channels you can take and look up for Baptism of the Lord. January 13th and 14th is Makar Sankranti Pongal. This is a Hindu religion, not in the Christian not on the Christian calendar, but widely celebrated in January worldwide. That means it may move around. A harvest festival marking the sun's transition into Capricorn. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I am a Capricorn, and my birthday is Christmas Eve. A harvest festival marking the sun's transition into Capricorn, symbolizing light, abundance, and new beginnings. Some of the activities are flying kites, preparing sweet rice dishes. We had an example of that. Donate food to those in need. I love that. And celebrate with music and dance. A couple of the YouTube channels where you can find a little bit more are Geethanjali, which is a Hindu devotional. Or you can go to National Geographic and look under festival documentaries. On January 14th, you have the Orthodox New Year. This is by the Julian calendar, observed by Eastern Orthodox Christians who follow the Julian calendar. Some of the activities include attending divine liturgy, sharing a traditional meal, reflecting on spiritual goals for the year, and it looks like the main YouTube channel you can go to find out some more information is the Orthodox Christian Network. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the Orthodox New Year, go to Orthodox Christian Network. January 18th through 25th is a week of prayer for Christian unity. This is celebrated by Christians and ecumenical. So sorry if I'm butchering this. I do apologize. A global initiative encouraging unity among Christian denominations. It's going to be a tough one. So once again, a week of prayer for Christian unity is a global initiative encouraging unity among Christian denominations. Some of the activities include attending interfaith or a service that you are not quite familiar with. Pray or meditate for unity. Host a community conversation. And one of the best places to find out more about Week of Prayer for Christian Unity is the World Council of Churches. World Council of Churches. Again, all of this information will be tagged in the description of this show. You'll be able to go to any of these pages and find out a little bit more. On January 25th, Feast of the Conversation of St. Paul. This is a Western Christian celebration. Commemorates Paul's dramatic transformation from persecutor to apostle. This reflects on personal transformation. One of the activities is reading Acts 9 to share stories of second chances. And some of the best YouTube channels to find more information is going to be Bible Project, Bible Project on YouTube, or Ascension Presents. So check those out, and you can find out a little bit more about Feast of the Conversation of St. Paul. January 10th, various dates, okay? Indigenous midwinter ceremonies. Haudenosaunee, and others. The reasons? Many indigenous nations hold midwinter ceremonies honoring renewal, gratitude, and the cycle of creation. Some of the activities, and this is not limited to these are just some of the activities, are storytelling, dream sharing, community feasts, and honoring ancestors. A couple of the YouTube channels you can go to find more information, and this one is pretty specific. Smithsonian NMAI. Smithsonian NMAI. And You can also go to on YouTube Indigenous Experiences Cultural Education. So once again, there are various dates for midwinter ceremonies. In January, we also have the Buddhist New Year, which has a variety of dates. There's no set date for this. Uh, Mahayana communities celebrate the New Year in January, focusing on the renewal and compassion. Some of the activities include temple visits, lighting incense, acts of kindness, and meditation. A couple of the YouTube channels you can check out are Thich, which is Thich, Thich, not Han, Plum Village, Thich not Han / Plum Village. So again, this will be in the description. And the Buddhist Society of London. So that's just a list of 10 things that is going on this month alone. You can already see that look, Christians really take their celebrating to heart. What is this? Seven of the 10 were Christian celebrations. I'm not saying this is bad, so don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm just saying, and especially the beginning of the month, there were in the first 6 days, you had 4 days of celebration. So that's, honestly, those were 4 days that until, a week and a half ago, I had never heard anything about any of them. So that's one of the reasons why I like doing this, because I get to learn about these things. So I do appreciate it. If we missed anything, please scan the QR code up in the corner. Come on and tell us. Let me know immediately, and I will make an addendum to this and add this as we continue through the week. I will add it in on Wednesday night. That way people know that it's here to celebrate. So please, if we missed any celebrations, don't get mad. Let's come on and talk about it. Use the QR code above, get involved, teach us about what you celebrate. There's certain rules. No hatred, no anger. It's for educational purposes only. And if it's not open to everyone, I'm sorry, we're not going to put it out there. This has to be something that's open to everyone. I don't want to get into the trap that we're going to be talking about certain religions looking more like something other than religious ceremonies. Saying this, I believe that there are some religions that are out there that are a little wonky. That doesn't mean it's true. Okay? What it means is I don't know enough about it to where I could really feel any comfort in expressing with you, and I just didn't find anything about it. But if there's something out there that you are celebrating, if there's something that's out there that you would like to share with people, come on and join us and explain it to us. Let us know. Look, truth is, we can't celebrate something if we don't know about it. So let us know. Let us make our own decisions. And you can join these 11, not 10, 11 programs that we talked about today. And once again, today, our first episode of the pACT channel presents Celebrations of the Spirit. We've got Solemnity of Mother. I'm sorry. Uh, Solemnity of Mary, Mother of God, January 1st. And I'm going to listen to how these are pronounced because I'm butchering them and that's embarrassing. January 2nd is the feast of the saints Basil and Basil the Great and Gregory Nazan, oh Jesus, Nazianzen. Sorry. So that's January 2nd. January 5th is Twelfth Night, the ending of the 12 days of Christmas. January 6th is Epiphany and Three Kings Day. January 12th is the baptism of the Lord. January 13th and 14th is Makar Sankranti, Hindu celebration. January 14th is the Orthodox New Year. And I believe that's one of them that, yes, that one moves around. January 8th, January 18th through 25th is the week of prayer for Christian unity. I'm interested in this one. I'm truly interested in this one because it is so funny how, and I need to stop using the term "this is so funny" because it's not funny. I find it interesting how different versions of Christianity come after each other quite often. So I'm very interested in this. If anybody takes part in any of the celebrations of this, please let me know. I would love to learn more about this. I'm going to visit the World Council of Churches on YouTube to find out more. January 25th is the Feast of the Conversation of St. Paul. That's January 25th. January, we have Indigenous midwinter ceremonies and also Buddhist New Year is another celebration that happens throughout the new year or throughout January. Thank you for joining us on this month's journey through the celebrations that shift and shape our spirit. As we close this chapter, remember every tradition carries a story and every story carries a spark. Next month, we'll explore new celebrations, new cultures, and new ways to come together. So please stay connected, stay curious, and keep the spirit alive. Please like, share, and subscribe and tell everybody, hey, look, there's this schmuck who can't pronounce names who tries to do this thing that talks about all of our celebrations. Let's see if he can talk about what we do. Better yet, why don't we give him a call and find out how we can help him learn? Aha! This is the QR code. Help me out. So the structure for this show is going to be very simple. We're going to have the stories, an opening that's going to give something personal or a historical anecdote, what the celebration is, why it matters, how people celebrate around the world, how listeners can participate via the YouTube channel. So, and then in the end, we're just going to try to tie all this in together just to prove that, you know what, this is a celebration of one group of people, but it's something that could be good for everyone. It's always better if we know about each other. So please join us next month in February as we continue our brand new series of the pACT Channel Presents Celebrations of the Spirit. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in February. Community Pay It Forward isn't just another rewards program. It's a movement built on compassion and connection. We link everyday businesses, nonprofits, and neighbors, so simple actions like buying lunch, getting your car fixed, or hiring a service can create lasting impact. When you choose one of our giving partners, part of your purchase goes directly to families, veterans, children, or community missions in need. It doesn't cost you a dime more. It just means your purchases matter. Because here, every transaction tells a story. And our belief is simple. If you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. Because at Community Pay It Forward, no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. So we've said that we've been looking for volunteers. You guys have heard me talking about that the last couple of weeks, and this is one of the reasons why it's desperately needed. You heard my struggles pronouncing some of these names. I'm going to get better, and just watching that was a little uncomfortable for me. Is one way to say it, because of the mispronunciation of a lot of the words. I like to be a little bit better prepared. I obviously was not, so we will do better next time. But I think you get the gist of what we're talking about. I also don't want to make this all about religious celebrations. We're going to be talking about the 4th of July. We're going to be talking about Veterans Day. We're going to be talking about some of these other days that are very, very important to people around the world. We simply cannot find information on every holiday. So if it is a holiday that you celebrate, we could really use your help by you sending it in to us and letting us know exactly what you celebrate. It would help us tremendously. So please, reach out to us, okay? And if you would like to come in and if you would like to talk to us, right here is a QR code. You can come in and you can tell us how you celebrate your event, how you celebrate your holiday. It's a great way to make a difference and to help people understand what some of these holidays are. I had no idea about any of these holidays until this came about. None. I have a lot of interest. I saw a king's cake yesterday, on Saturday, when Adrian and I were at the store. And I knew what the king's cake was for. I knew it was for a celebration. I knew it was for Three Kings Day. Before, I would have just looked at it and went, wow, that's a colorful cake. I don't see a lot of frosting on it. What's going on here? So, to close our show out, we do have a segment from the Miracle of the Season. And this is a very, very special segment to me because I learned a lot about a really, really good friend, somebody that we spend every second Wednesday with, Mr. Les Simpson. He is the last segment of this show, but it is such a look. when I started doing this show, I knew that there were going to be times I was going to be laughing so hard I could barely control myself. I knew that there were going to be times that I was shocked, and I knew there were times I was going to be completely saddened. This was hard for me to listen to. This was very hard for me to listen to. It was very sad. Um, but then in the back of my mind, I knew he's still around. So there is a positive impact on it. And that's what we're trying to do with this show, with Footprints Forward. So we need your help. So please make sure that wherever you're at right now, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know, hey, this is what I found valuable with this show. Can you please do more of this? Can you ask other people to join us? Can you sit there and say, you know what, look, I know this guy, not the smartest guy in the world, but he's really trying to do good. I know that you have a celebration coming up. I know you have an event coming up. This guy will let you share that event on his channel. We're here to make lives better. We're here to share stories. So please, like, share, subscribe. If you know somebody who's trying to do good in the world, bring them on, because we can do so much more together. And again, no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. So I will be back in about an hour to close the show out. This is my good friend Les, his wife Suzanne, and Kathleen. Hey everybody, how's it going? We are here with this is something that we're looking forward to. Last year we had Susan and Les join us, and they talked to us about their faith and about what this season really brings to them and how they feel their faith helped them. And it was so compelling, and it was so important that I wanted to bring them back again. They have brought along a friend this time, which just makes me beyond appreciative, because it does show that, look, what we're trying to get out is really making a difference, and it is really resounding with other people. So I am extremely excited. So please welcome our good buddy Les, with the master class show every second Wednesday. And hello, Les, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
So, and his beautiful wife, Suzanne. Hello, Suzanne. It's great to see you again.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And a brand new friend. And Kathleen, we're going to try this. Okay. It's Kathleen Wooker Finning.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. I actually got it right on the first time, the third time through. But we got that going. Kathleen, first off, thank you so very much for participating in this. It truly is something that, with what you are doing, which is you have a healing connections through art, with the Faith to Create Ministries. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me. So it's an unusual year for Christmas for me this season. Faith to Create is a ministry of the Lundborg Family Foundation. So we have the power of faith and creativity transforms lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you and art, that I know personally how art can help people work through different things. What is it that you try to make sure that do you let people experience the art themselves, or do you try to direct them into, ways to bring that art out? How does it go? Do you just sit them down with the medium and say, create, or what's the process like?
Well, by professional training, I'm a teacher, so I have experience with the elementary education, working with the franchise, and then a coworker has asked for me to partner with her working with elderly. So for my job itself, I go all the way from early elementary, and then summer camp is with 9 through 14-year-olds. And now I'm presently working with elderly, which has been such a blessing. So, as way of background, what my ministry is, which I found so rewarding, is working with the Family Foundation. Unfortunately, my dad passed away 4 years ago, and my brother passed away, so we're fairly new. Very blessed to be able to have my nephew, who is highly, highly, highly trained. He's a Air Force combat cameraman, and so he's at that high level with the military, as an artist also. So we're working as a foundation. So I think I'll focus more on what we do with our ministry, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, I think that, and what is the difference then between what you do with the art and the ministry? How do you distinct put a distinction in there?
I find much more freedom with my ministry because I can let the Holy Spirit work through me. This is a faith
Hmm.
driven ministry. When I'm with work, it's very, very satisfying. I enjoy it very much. Sometimes I feel a little limited because I'm following a curriculum. And this way, I'm actually writing the curriculum. So I have found that very joyful to be in the field with people of all ages and being able to write for faith to create.
Um, and I neglected to say this. Thank you very much for your teaching. I am a very strong proponent on teachers being heroes in the community. You guys are out there doing a very tough job. You've become babysitters, uh, co-parents, and unfortunately you guys have a lot of stuff thrown on you, and most of the teachers I've ever met are real superheroes in my mind, because you guys take 30, 40 different kids at once and have to become something spectacular. So thank you for your all that you've done there.
Well,
um
thank you. And fortunately, I'm in a setting with smaller kids. I taught in Christian schools. I substituted. I can be in an environment where I can personalize a little bit more. So thank you. And that's what I love about art is I can personalize it and draw people out, hopefully, with the art. Because it's a personal thing.
um so you help people experience emotion. You have helped people who have experienced emotional trauma discover connections that transform their lives.
Correct.
Can you please tell me a little bit about that?
Thank you. My most recent is partnering with an organization, Royal Family Kids. And this works directly with youth who have experienced emotional trauma and are experiencing this. We have a mentoring club, and then they go to camp for 1 week out of the summer. And art is a big part of that program. So I have some training for trust based relational intervention through Royal Family Kids. I have hands on experience with that. And so that has probably just enriched my ability to be able to go out into outside of Royal Family Kids, but be in my focus, my passion, where I believe God wants me to work and minister.
What are some of the examples of, like, some of the real success you've had with with what you're doing there?
So one of the testimonials I have is a camper has a mentor, and what we do is we distribute some bags that have Faith to Create as a logo on it, and then it has an art kit inside. So it has the colored pencils, the sharpener, and it has a journal. And one of the kids is walking along with the mentor, and the mentor said, and then in this journal you'll be able to write or you can draw. And then she said that she likes to be able to do the drawing because I can draw what I cannot write.
That is powerful, because it's amazing what the mind sometimes will be able to create when the words do not come to mind. You know, that is extremely, extremely powerful. I think I really do. I think that's beautiful. Um, do you, and this is just in case somebody wants to take and support what you're doing, Kathleen, do you guys take like donations of colored pencils and stuff like that, or are you guys pretty set on supplies?
It's very interesting. Thank you for asking. We're in an unusual situation because my dad passed away suddenly, and then my brother was taking this on,
I
and
am
we
so
are at a
sorry about that.
point. Thank you. Thank you. It's been really challenging. We are at a point where the family's coming together and saying we actually need to find ministries. And so we're already funded. What my dad had was an online presence, and so that did not cost a lot. And then financially, it's been really, really good. I think probably the biggest struggle has been we have three generations. We're all family and they're interrelated in marriage and all that. So art has been our all of our passions. And now we are at a very, very good point having my nephew in there with the younger generation and directly related in art. And he has big dreams, and now we can partner together because he's working on the art education also. So thank you. We are good for now. Thank you.
Okay. Um, with the three generations, Kathleen, do you notice a difference in the art styles?
My dad's digital technology, and then my brother is an artist and he's desktop design. So he started introducing the digital, and then my dad started going more digital. And so our mission is to reach people digitally through art. And then my nephew is very proficient in the digital part. So
Wow, that is so cool. What are some of the benefits that you try to push forward with the art? What are some of the benefits you try to pull out of people with the art? Is I think is a better way to put that, maybe.
well, thank you. You're catching the vision. You know the vision. Thank you. So, yes, drawing out is great because everybody's individual. And the
Mhm.
nice thing about art is there's no right or wrong. And I say, I'm not grading it, and I'm not the one that decides if it goes in the museum. So, hey, it's win win. You're going to do art that you like for you. And I get to know people. I get to know their heart. So the thing is, I can, look at the shirt that they're wearing and put art in front of them. If they say, I don't know where to start, a lot of it's like, what are you wearing? What do you like? Can you tell me about yourself? Oh, can you draw that? And then some people in my classes, I teach mixed media, they like to write. They have a hard time with the drawing. So I'm learning that art transcends so much more than just the colored pencils. I like saying try everything. This is your opportunity, and they come away with that. So the benefits are they have self expression. They have some kind of control over things. It really is good for the body. It's good for the body because it relaxes it. It's good for the brain because whether it's doodling or drawing, it's slowing down the brain. So the brain is slower and it's able to process what we can't process when we're running through our busy days. And then I like to encourage them to share. And then I like that there's collaboration also. And I feel like there's a synergistic effect because one's sharing, somebody else will share. So then it helps somebody else open up. So I think art is a great setting to be able to do that, to have the community and share themselves.
Yeah, I cannot agree with you more. I know that back in my days when I used to do a lot of painting,
Mm,
um, there was abstract was something that I felt like the chaos that was in my mind was was better spoken when I put it on a board in front of me in the abstract itself. I felt like I could discuss what my head felt better on a board than I could if I was just trying to talk about it. It confused me to try to talk about it, but when I put it on the board, it made a lot of sense to me. So I love your program. I love what you're doing here. So, what are some of the practical things that lead to healing and transformation when it comes to your program?
I would say being prepared, is the headspace with our youth in the foster care. If they're hungry, if they're overly tired, if they're overstimulated, there are all kinds of variables that inhibit them to get to the space that we want them to be in. So the beauty about the Faith to Create is we have these bags that go with the kids on the buses, and they can eat nonstop. They just ask for more. So that's really big, that their body and their mind is prepared. So then I think also some people like music, and of course you get into music and there's different styles of music. So when I'm teaching, do I play music? Do they not play music? Can they have headphones? Can they not have headphones? It's so individual. So that's why I think encouraging people to, I also photograph, and we say 80-20. We say 80% on a session, do what you know is going to work, and 20% go off with you might not like it. So I try to build space into that, where do what you're comfortable with. So it's self-esteem building, but also do that 20, and I don't give them the numbers, but that's my mindset. Do that 20 that you're not sure if you're going to like it or not. And then if they love it, then that builds their repertoire of art.
Uh, this is one that's a little bit off script here, but how hard is it to when you look at a child? And I know that a lot of times when you are drawing or painting or something, you are looking for that perfection. How hard is it with the smaller children to teach them? You have to mold perfection. Perfection's not going to just come out. You have to mold perfection. So if you feel like you've messed something up, keep playing with it, because perfection is in there. What you're trying to say is in there. You just need to bring it out. How hard is
Yeah,
that with
that's good.
kids?
That's good. So, in our franchise training, it's please work quietly, and we do the respect and the talking, and then it does not have to be perfect. And then we use markers instead of
Ah,
pencils, because the pencils, they want to erase. So these kids just dive right into it, and sometimes they'll say, "I didn't mean to do this," and then our comment is, "Well, what would you like to do with that?" Just like, that's how it is. It's kind of a good life lesson too. That's what you have now. What are you going to do with it?
yeah,
So
boy, Les, I'll tell you, if they like quiet, they would not like me very much, huh? I'm not very quiet sometimes, but um the last one I have for you are, what are some of the recommended sources that that we can look into this further? How can people find out more information, and maybe even talk to you a little bit further about that, how they can become involved or support what you're doing?
oh, thank you. Okay, so let's see. The Lundborg Foundations has Disciples Make. So if people during the holidays here are feeling overwhelmed, wondering how they fit in, they want to connect with somebody else's story, Lundborg Foundations has a Disciples Make ministry that has the testimonies. And then if they want to dive in further into faith, we partner with Campus Crusade for Christ. My dad did the writing himself, but now we are partnering with someone who's kept this established. And they have all kinds of different departments in the Campus Crusade. So those are the faith things that come to mind, because I can't imagine my art without my faith. And just encouraging people, just like in art, to be open-minded, I also say with faith to be open-minded, because the two of them go together with me. That's why I have Faith to Create, because it just started blossoming when I put the two together.
And Kathleen, like I was saying at the beginning of this, that is one of the reasons why I feel so strongly about what we're doing here, is I don't want to shut down any faith. I want people to understand what everybody's going through, because there is a similarity in a lot of things that we all go through, no matter, no matter how we study, no matter who we are, there's still a similarity between all of us. There's our differences, but every single one of us, I mean, really, we just want to find that light within ourselves. And shutting down somebody because they are of faith minded is ridiculous, because just because, that's somebody you should be able to learn from, not
My brother
shun.
said, "Well, everybody has faith. You might want to clarify what faith is." He
Yeah.
said. So,
Yeah. Well, and that is true, but everybody has a different view of faith, and
mhm.
our faiths are a little bit different. Kathleen, I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor, and if you would send me that information for the Lundberg Foundation, I will tag that on the videos themselves so people can reach out to them. And if people want to get a hold of you, just go to Healing Connections Through Art, correct?
Well, and we are in the reason I brought up with the transition is our third generation. We are now just defining who's doing what. So, out of respect to my nephew who's taking this over January 1st, 2026, I would prefer I don't put all that information out until
Okay.
he's comfortable with it. So I thank you very much for this opportunity to share. And in terms of financial, we're doing great. I just really like that you are open minded to have us on and
Uh,
talk for you.
yeah, that's absolutely perfect. But I do ask something. When you're ready to release, would you
Hmm.
please come and join Les and I again on one of his shows and
I would
tell us
love
you're ready to
to.
go? That
I
would
would
be
love to.
fantastic. And that way we can follow you guys on what you're doing and make sure that we get people out there and all the best information. So, um, Kathleen, I greatly appreciate you participating in this in the miracle of the season. I cannot thank you enough, and this is wonderful. I love what you're doing. Again, thank you for your years of teaching. That's just inspirational.
Thank you very, very much. And I look forward to being on again, God willing. So thank
Hey,
you.
I look forward to it. You're always welcome every year. So
Thank
I
you.
plan on doing this at least one more year. At least one more. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
I
Thank
plan.
you.
But
And
all right,
Kathleen,
thank you very
it's up to
much.
you if you want to stay on and hear the other two, or if you have
Mhm.
something else to do, that's
Oh, I'm
fine.
happy to. I'm happy to hear. Are we off camera right now? Or are we on?
No,
You're on.
no, it's going to still continue to go. So yeah, but you are more than
My
welcome to
teaching
join us.
has not been this huge sacrifice of years. It's been part time, fun activities for teaching. I enjoy teaching. So anyway,
Eh,
it's not like I'm a huge hero, but thank you.
Well, you know what? My son gets mad at me when I call him a hero. My son teaches children with disabilities over in Japan. He teaches kindergarten children English
That's
in Japan. And he gets mad at me when I call him a hero. And I tell him, I don't care if you're going to get mad at me or not. I mean, you're doing something that, look, dad couldn't do, because I love my kids. I love my kids with all my heart. Your
yeah.
kids, not so much, but you know, I appreciate your kids, and I think they deserve the best chance they can get. And I think that people like you give them that chance. So that's the reason I call teachers heroes. So
Well, thank you.
regardless if you're part-time or even just somebody who goes in and offers them a hand, it
Well,
doesn't matter to me.
thank you for what you're doing. It's fantastic. So thank you
Well,
very much.
well, thank you. Suzanne, sorry, not Susan. Suzanne, how are you?
I am wonderful. Yeah, so glad to be here.
Well, I am thrilled to have you back again this year. It just your words were so inspirational last year, and yourself and Les, you brought something to our event that I wanted to make sure that we got back in there. Les has been an integral part of community pay it forward and everything that we're trying to do and lifting other people. And I know being able to focus his family and his beautiful wife, I think it's something that rounds out our year perfectly, and it really takes and just gives us that that end of year push. So I greatly appreciate you joining us again.
Well, thank you very much.
So, can you tell us a little bit about Renewed Life Counseling?
Sure. Well, I've been doing this for multiple years, but I would say over the last 4 years or so, I kind of graduated, decided I'm really about inner healing because I feel like you can talk about your problems, but if you're not being empowered from the inside out, to get the healing, then you kind of recreate some of the same problems. And so my tagline is reclaim yourself and restore hope and healing. And what I find is many people have lost themselves, for various reasons. They've had uh, traumas, they've had either little traumas or bigger traumas, and all of that kind of gets in the way of really owning who you truly were God given, designed to be. So, what I like to do is help people get to the deeper roots and help them empower themselves to heal whatever their traumas have been.
Faith has a lot to do with with what you're doing as well, right?
No,
You
absolutely. Hmm.
can you express can you explain how faith helps you to help others?
Well, I do a lot of my own healing, obviously,
Hmm.
because if I can only really impart something to someone that I think I've been through, so I do bring Christ into my healing process because as a believer, I sense his power and his Holy Spirit to guide me into some deeper parts of my heart that have been hurt. We all have that. We're all broken in some degree. So when I can, best relate to someone that's going through trauma, it's usually because I've been through some variation of that.
Yeah. Um, Suzanne, what is one of the largest misconceptions you see when people come to you? Is it when it comes to them being lost? Is it they've just got to a point where they just don't think that who they were before suits them anymore, or is there a loss of just identity and lack of faith, or is it kind of a combination of everything?
Well, I think the latter is more what I see, loss of identity, and loss of purpose. Um,
Yeah.
I think when people say I'm stuck, that's what I hear a lot. I'm stuck. Well, that tells me either they're not moving forward because they don't know their purpose or they have some emotional blocks that are keeping them from, the full healing that they could experience. And I know with veterans, there's symptoms that people experience. It could be that they observed some combat, and lost some people that they were very close to. Or, during this time of year, people have a lot of losses that
Mhm.
resurface because we're supposed to have this happy unity of community and family, but it doesn't always happen. Some families were pretty much destroyed because of being in the war zone. So I think to answer your question, I think it's a matter of how do people get to whatever those inner wounded blocks are that are there that are in their way.
I I bring up quite often that I think that the holiday commercials where they have the child that shows up at the door, the serving, the military son or daughter that comes home. I There are so many people who see that and they sit there and they wait for their own door to swing open and have that surprise, and it just crushes them when they don't.
Mm,
What can we do, Susan, to make sure that we understand that, what, I wish that happened. I like in my own case, I wish that on December 24th, my son from Japan was going to walk through the door.
yeah.
I know he's not going to this year.
Hmm.
I know he's not going to this year, but I can't let that bring everything down for me this year. I need to make sure that, first off, I need to make sure that I call free my son and let him know, son, I wish you were here, but appreciate and love that you are there. And
Hmm.
I just appreciate and love you. What do we need to do to make sure that we are okay and they are okay, knowing that I understand you can't be here?
Yeah, boy, that's a tough one because everybody promotes
Hmm.
families this time of year. And
Yeah.
I don't have much family that's local. And the family that I do have, I'm not just extremely close, but it feels like when I focus on the image of what I think Christmas should be with families, is when I get into a funk. I
Yeah.
feel like it doesn't have to be all about families. It's really about, in my opinion, because of my faith, it's about Christ and what he's done for us. So I tend to, not focus on circumstances so much as, what do I need to feel during this season and what could I do to encourage myself? Where do I put my eyes and my focus rather than on, what's missing? And, prayer life, being able to image is huge. I do a lot of imagery with people because the brain really doesn't know if this has happened or, if it's just an image that you conjure up. So if you kind of imagine yourself in a peaceful place, bringing in a Christ-like figure or bringing in your faith, it can really get you through a lot of difficulties during this time of year.
What what are some of the things that people struggle with the most? And I know that we've been talking about a lot of them here, but what are some of the things that you've noticed people struggle with the most this time of year?
Um,
Um,
I think it's
Love
a
with
lot about family, as I
yeah.
mentioned, but it's more than that. It's more about depression that they feel because their image of what they thought Christmas should be or what life should be for them. And it is the end of the year. So sometimes you're assessing, did I do enough this year? Or, I haven't moved forward this year. Or fatigue. People have a lot of fatigue and they don't understand that emotions can cause that fatigue. I actually have a testimony of someone I worked with, and she's in a whole nother continent. So it's kind of exciting because she's in the field that I'm in, but she was not able to access the type of help she needed. And she saw her husband go through some healing in a church, and it just really turned around, him and some of their relationship problems. But she still was heavy laden with some trauma from her childhood. So I can read what she wrote just recently
Please, please.
because it was interesting. I do a little assessment. I send it out. It's a monthly assessment to see what their symptoms are. And I failed to do it when she first started with me, but I finally said, we need to see this, and where your symptoms are. So sure enough, the fatigue was really high for her.
Hmm.
And she kept saying, nothing's worked. I really feel, I've been to mentors, I've had therapy. And unfortunately, the therapy she had was not the kind I offer. So it didn't really go into some of the trauma holes that she had, And so what she said recently is, I've noticed a huge, huge reduction in my fatigue levels, which despite prayer and therapy had never reduced so much more before. I also noticed such a difference in my trauma memories and feelings. I can now remember the past and it's not hurtful, and I generally feel lighter. So that's so encouraging, because
Yeah.
I don't ignore some of the past. Some people say, well, get them in the present, get them thinking different and cognitively get them into a better emotional state. But your body does hold on to memory. And we know that now from science. So whatever the cells have held on to from trauma from your past is still there. And you may have, these the reenacting these memories of when you've had some event.
The fact is, Suzanne, you don't ever get rid of the past, do you? It's how you are able to work with what has happened in the past and how you're able to perceive your success with it where you're at now, how
Yeah.
you're able to work with your past. That's what it really, for somebody to say you need to bring them out of the what happened in the past, you can't expect somebody to give up what has happened. You
Right.
just need to help them get to where they are, into a better place now, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I think the one thing that does help is to release the pain of the past. And
Yeah.
because that's what the body's held on to, some of the emotion. And Les may get into that a little bit because, emotion just gets stored. And so once we release it, it's no longer there and people are off and running and feel better.
Well, you mentioned with her fatigue. What are some of the other symptoms that people talk about?
I think I hear a lot of depression. I hear PTSD, which is kind of a broad term, but I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it does indicate that there's been some major trauma and the body's held on to that. Anxiety, panic, some people have panicky feelings. If they're in an event that recreates some of that old pain, then it may heighten, you know. And I think during this time of year, it just heightens because people have a lot of expectations on the way Christmas should be for them.
Yeah. Yeah. That, and is that also has a lot to do with allowing somebody else to dictate what Christmas should be for you, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we a lot of times we let somebody tell us what Christmas or our holidays are. This is what this is what the TV is expecting my holiday to be.
Yeah, you see the Hallmark movies, and boy, I have
Yeah.
to limit those movies. I tell Les, "You can't see too many of them because they're all, just with glowing, romantic feelings."
And Suzanne, what is the one key um what is the one key thing that you ask them to do to bring relief?
Well, that is a great question. I think that gratitude goes a long way. In fact, they've found that through brain research that when you open up the frontal part of the brain, this area up here, through appreciation and gratitude, it really changes the connection with yourself, God, and others. And so I have them focus on, what do they appreciate the most, and maybe bring in a Christ-like figure or Christ to bring that appreciation even further. So I think that's important. I think developing community. I think you talked about your community, which is excellent. We need each other. I've had a community group for some time, and I think just looking at journaling from an empowerment perspective. I call it empowerment journaling because you can journal just all your woes and put all that down. But, maybe you do start off with a question or a sentence stem or something you're trying to get an answer about and ask God to show you what is there. What is your response to that? I had an example recently where I was just all upset about a restaurant I chose, which was silly, but it was a restaurant that just didn't have, it was a sports bar, and I'm not into sports bars that much. But the food was very salty, and the waiter and the head waitress were so gracious, and they came and said, "How can I support you?" Because I complained a little about it. But then I realized that's the grace that we all need. We need to experience love from others that accept us where we are. And so I think, just sometimes writing out some affirmations. I can affirmations, a sentence stem that says, I want to let go of anger because, and, just kind of working with your inner self. I think Les will focus a little bit on that. And then cultivate grace for yourself and others. So those are things I've learned. And, if you ask, like with Kathleen's work, maybe ask them to draw out their heart, what's in their heart that's unhealed, or, give us a picture of what the inner crevices look like in your heart, because that can, it can be softened. And I think when our hearts are softened, we're more apt to be loving towards ourselves and others.
I I could not. I mean, I can't agree with you more, and I think that it is really perfect how you and Kathleen on the same page there with the journaling, with the art, and it's a beautiful marriage when you put them together. It's a real way to open people up. One of the things that we do is we ask kids to be creative, and we ask them to help us build the collection boxes when we collect books or toys or whatever it is. And we ask kids to, we ask parents to sit the kids down with a poster board and whatever they want, crayons, markers, pencils, whatever they want. And we ask them to, what does this holiday mean to you? Or what does community mean to you? Or giving? Or what does it mean to feel good to you? And we take those poster boards and we put them on the side of collection boxes. And that way, these kids know that they're doing something not only for themselves, they get to express themselves, but they're also doing something that is helping other people. And I know
Mhm.
that we've seen some great, I mean, we've received some great stuff from kids. And you know what? It may not be the most professional pictures in the world, but I'll tell you this, they have never meant more to me than any other pictures I've ever seen, because these kids have actually taken and they've done something that they care about, and that's what's important to me. So
That's beautiful. Yeah.
but well, Suzanne, thank you so very much for your time. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, my website is my name, Suzanne, but it has a B as in boy, Simpson.com. And on there's a phone number you can text me from, or you can, maybe just put a request in that you're interested in getting more resources or materials, or a session, a complimentary session. So those are excellent ways to connect.
Well, again, thank you very much for joining us again this year. As always, I invite you back whenever you would like to come on, and it's so inspiring seeing you and learning from you. So thank you so very much. And now I think we're going to bring on the man who you taught him a lesson. We found this out with your wind chimes. So he learned a lesson through J.W. Wilson, and it has to do with your wind chimes. How you doing, Les?
I'm doing great. The
So,
yeah, I'll quickly tell that since you brought it up, but then I'll get into some other stuff. The one thing JW and neuroscience shows us is we're all supposed to get along with everybody around us. And unfortunately, in JW's book, Cracking the Learning Code, really goes into this, that the first thing we were taught in school was how to be against other people. Um, when we went in school, we had all kinds of interest in bugs, trees, everything you can possibly think of. And as first we went into school, they set us down and they said, basically, you have to forget all that. We got a curriculum you got to do. And if you don't, we're going to give you bad grades. And the people that get good grades get to basically criticize the ones that don't get good grades. And so it's all about againstism, as he said. And the brain wasn't designed for that. The brain was designed to get along with other people. When I met JW a year and a half ago, before he died, he'd been gone 7 months now. He said, Les, I'm going to teach you a new language. I says, okay. He says, it's a language of emotion. He says, we're all supposed to get along with everybody else. Well, it's interesting. I started listening to him, and of course, we've been taught it otherwise. Competition is the only way to have value and so forth. And so I started listening, and I prayed, and I asked the Lord to show me what he was talking about. And the first thing that confirmed it after I was taking his course for about 3 weeks was Suzanne had these chimes. And at night, when the wind blew, I had to get out and get the things down before it woke up the dog and her. And after 3 times, I said, honey, can we get rid of these? I mean, I'm tired of getting up. And she says, oh no, these were given as a Christmas present from Ruth. And it's interesting. Once I heard that in my heart and understood how much meaningful it was to her, that I thought, well, it's not that big a deal to get up and get them. And so my thoughts changed. And it's interesting, once you understand the way we're created, then there's something inside of it that says, yes, that is true. And one of the things that I was telling another person today, excuse me, I've been on meetings all day long. My voice is not gone. That once, and this is what also JW says, once we're on the right track, then our eyes, our ears, everything starts searching out to seek what can make us better at who we are. And I was just talking to a lady on an earlier call. She was a social worker for 30 years. And it was just in her that she'd given enough. It was time to do something else. And then so she got into a occupation of getting funding for companies, but she didn't look at it as money. She looked at it as helping the companies get better. And so that's one of the things that I'm learning, and that we were all designed to get better. We were designed to get very good at something so we can support our community, so our community can support us. And we were all designed that way. And that's one of the things JW taught and neuroscience teaches. And so that's one of the things that right now I'm doing. But in fact, I want to make a comment here as far as what I'm doing now. There's an assessment, and it's Zach has the link to it. This assessment is proprietary. It was used in the Fortune 500 company for 30 years.
Your sound went out.
I'm sorry?
Okay, you're back.
Oh, you're back.
Your sound waffled a little bit, but I think you're back now.
It's proprietary. It has 9 parts to it, and it shows us who we are. So many assessments out there are lost leaders. You pay $25 and they tell you who you aren't, and then they want to sell you a coaching program. This one shows who we are. And there's a 5-minute video you can watch. And in fact, under it, there's a white paper that shows the validity of it. And then there's a testimony of a lady that owns 3 companies. And she said once she put people in the position they were created to be, everybody wanted to be the best they could at it. And it tremendously reduced her management time. But the point is, in fact, neuroscience shows this, that when we're working outside of what we were designed to be, it tremendously increases stress. When stress happens, we go into fight or flight. And fight or flight drains the neocortex of blood, and that's where we get our creative problem-solving ability. So when a person is working outside of what they're supposed to be, it actually reduces their ability to do the job. And so this assessment shows people, well, entrepreneurs, what it shows them is what they need to be delegating or outsourcing, because it's not designed for them. It was designed for their other. But anyway, one of the things I wanted to really talk about here is Christ, how he heals. And everybody might ask, well, who am I to talk about that? If you read Suzanne's book, it tells my stories. And to give you an idea, I was ready to commit suicide at 17. And the Lord sent a person into me that started becoming my dad was dead. He died when I was 16, but I was sexually abused by both my mother and her boyfriend when I was a kid. And I was very angry. And I was put in a closet because I was angry and only allowed out now and then when I got the anger over. And so by 17, I was ready to call it quits. And I'd already decided how I was going to do it. And then the Lord sent this gentleman into my life and said, no, it's time for you to get to know me. And that was the Lord. And but it didn't stop there. And that's one of the things I really want to clarify is the Lord is there to heal. And unfortunately, we don't understand, the church does not teach it, that the Lord gets people when they're at the very bottom, when they don't think they don't have anything else. Go read the story in the scripture of Joseph. He had to be a slave for quite a while before the Lord turned him around. He was trying to do what he needed to do. David, same way. Paul, same way. Paul was stoned 3 times, left for dead, preaching the word. And then 15 years ago, about 15, nothing was going right in our life. What I mean by that is nothing physically was happening. And I wanted to go on. And I was 55. And I was hoping to get there by the time I was 65. And I went into the hospital. And they didn't think I was going to come out. I had blood clots in 3/4 of my lungs, and which was interesting. It healed up to the point where I didn't have to take shots and so forth. But what was interesting was within, and Jack told me that it was a gentleman. He says, things aren't going to change. And I thought it was. And the 6 weeks later, I was ready to call it quits again. And the Lord, see, this is how personal the Lord is. This is how soft the Lord is. And this is how much of a friend, but the master of the universe he is. He said, okay, you want to end it. He says, take me through that in your imagination. And so I did. And when I was getting ready to put the gun in my mouth, I realized I wouldn't have the courage. And I'd have to ask him for it. Needless to say, he wasn't going to give it to me. And he asked me this. He says, okay, what part of your life you want to die in? He says, do you want to die that you can see trees? I said, no. He said, do you want to die that you like the taste of food? No. He says, so what is it you want to die in? I says, the pain. And he says, that we can work with. And once I did that, for the next 6 months, constantly, when things didn't go physically right, I now knew I could talk to him about it. Once I went to the very, very bottom, and he says, take me in your imagination to what you fear the most, then he started bringing me out of it. And so for the next 6 months, constantly, almost once a week, I felt I wanted to get out of here, and we talked. And so it turned me around. And so then the Lord led me into emotional freedom technique. And because there's always been something, as Suzanne is experienced an emotional freedom technique, you could have her run you through it. And what she was talking about, the STEM the sentence completion technique. When I first wanted to die, the Lord, and this was 10 years, 30 years before that, he led me to a book. There's a gentleman that you really want to get to know if you want to do some self-therapy. Now, if you really want to find out what's in there and you want to bring it to the Lord and say, hey, I don't like this anymore, help me clear it out. There's a psychologist by the name of Nathaniel Brandon. And the first book I read of his is If You Could Hear What I Cannot See, Say. And you can still get the book. And it's what they call a sentence completion technique. And what you do, let's say you're mad at somebody. You say, the reason I'm mad at this person is, and you complete that 10 times. And you find out what's bugging you inside. And then the book, it has you do that each day. And then at the Friday, it has you read them over. And it really pulls stuff out that you can, and there's a lot of tears. And it allows you to see who you are deep inside, all the trauma. Because you'll never forget your past, but what you can forget is, can get healed is the trauma. And I'll give you an example of that. Emotional freedom technique. What we learned is there's two parts to things that really mess us up. And one is guilt and one is shame. Guilt is we did something we felt we shouldn't. Shame is we didn't do something we thought we should. And PTSD is one of the big ones that EFT helps with. And we had a soldier that had, every time he heard a loud noise, he was underneath the couch. He had nightmares all the time. His wife was done with it after 10 years and ready to divorce him. And he went to this workshop, 3-day workshop. And what we found out was him and his favorite buddy was walking in Vietnam, and they had this system that they walked where he walked on the right-hand side. And they had done this for a year. Well, this morning they had had an argument, and he decided to walk on the left-hand side. Well, his buddy's head was shot off. And so he thought if he wouldn't have made that decision, his buddy would have been alive. So once the EFT happened and he found that it was all something that he felt that he did and he shouldn't have, then Christ healed it. And within 2 weeks, he was living a normal life. And so it all has to do with trauma of what we either think we did and we shouldn't have done, or we didn't do and we should have. And this heals that. And I'll suggest to everybody emotional freedom technique. There's books that you can get and do it on yourself, but you can also have therapists. But EFT for Christians is a big one. And because it really shows how Christ comes in and heals things. But the main thing at Christmas and so forth, when Suzanne, she'll tell you, she really has a problem with not having family. But what she's learning gradually is family is an image that she has worshiped all of her life that has all good stuff. But fortunately, the Lord is starting to show her that people with families sometimes isn't good stuff. And so, but she's learning, and she's learning to have the Lord to be her family. And that's not easy. But right now, every time she asks for meetings with family, he cuts it off because he's saying, you're my family. And it's a process. But the one thing about the Lord is he's relentless. It's kind of like Joseph. It took him 17 years after he was told he was going to have his brothers bow to him before the Lord had him prepared where it happened. And then he forgave all of his brothers because he said, what you meant for evil, the Lord meant for good. And we don't change overnight, but he's relentless. He keeps the calendar. We don't have to be anything we're not today. And that's why I love this assessment. It shows people who they are and allows them to be who they are. And so that's one of the things with the, by the way, veterans can get free EFT sessions. And there's an organization that has part of their training is free sessions for veterans on PTSD, 5 of them they can get. A lot of times 5 is all they need. So anyway, that's what it's about in Christmas. Christ heals. Christ removes our trauma. Christ removes our hatred of ourselves because we didn't do something or we did do something.
Les, my brother, thank you for opening up. Thank you for being yourself, and thank you for those stories. I have a couple. First off, I have a question. Does anybody, Kathleen, Suzanne, Les, do you all have any questions for each other? Was there anything that any of you wanted to ask one another before I ask my final question?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys know each other, but I know sometimes in a situation like this, we open up and there are questions that come out here. Kathleen, let's start with you. When God spoke to you for your first time, and I know this may sound like a weird question, but there are people who very well could need this question. The first time God spoke to you, what did you think? What was your first thought? Was it, why is somebody speaking to me? What's going on here? Am I crazy? What was your first thought when God spoke to you the first time?
Well, fortunately, I grew up in a very faith-based, grounded, integrative home. So I hear the stories of what I said. And one of the things I said was Tata Gigi for thank you, Jesus. So I hear it before I remember it. So I guess that's a good sign.
All right, I got to be honest with you, Kathleen. I think we just came up with the title for this segment, Tata Gigi.
All about him this season.
So that was cute. So again, Kathleen, thank you so very much for joining us. I cannot thank you enough. So thank you. Suzanne, what was the first time you heard that voice? What was the first thought when it came into your life? What was your first thoughts?
Well, I think I was in high school, and I think it gave me a lot of peace. And I don't know that I got very grounded in it at that time because I kind of still had my independent side of me, to kind of go my own separate path. So it really wasn't until I was out working that I found the relief from depression, and that's where I think it helped me the most. And I heard a voice that said, "Come to me, you can find relief, and the scriptures have it." And I thought, no, I don't understand the scriptures. But when I felt a leading in that direction, the scriptures opened up to me.
Wow. Yeah, that is kind of exactly what I was looking, because I know that there's a lot of people who they may have heard a voice and they just don't understand what they're hearing, and that's the reason I asked that question. So just to make sure everybody understands what I was going for here. Les, you just really brought this up in your story. 17 was the first time. What was your first reaction to hearing this voice?
Well, give you a little bit further. My dad, he was brought up, both of his parents were killed. And he was brought up by an uncle that was strict Southern Baptist. and he beat him all the time. Every time something turned around, he got beat. And my dad was a very large man, Swedish. And at 17, he was wearing 17 size men's shirts. And he decided at 17 that he was going to have to make a decision, either run away or kill his uncle, because he said that he could have broke him like a pencil. And so he ran away. And he didn't want our family to have anything to do with religion. And at 12, or maybe, 12, we saw a play at school. And we didn't know it, but a pastor had been in it and invited us to this deal the following evening. And I thought it was going to be another play. It was a preacher talking, and at the end of it, they asked for people to come forward, and a lady beside me pushed me out in the hallway or in the aisle. And so I went down. He did his thing and so forth, and took me home, and said he would be back Sunday. And Dad says, I don't want you on this property. Get off now. And so that was the end of that until I was 16 and met this girl, and everybody was praying. They had a family that went to church, and everybody was praying that I would get involved with her. Well, I did, and went to the church, but that's when, and she wouldn't have sex with me. And I was simply angry and had decided that was it. And that night I decided to end it by driving off a big cliff in Fort Collins, Horsetooth Reservoir. And then that's when the Lord sent the other gentleman into my life. I listened to a youth group thing, and a friend of mine, I says, I think I need to talk to you. And we went inside a room, and I said, well, I'll pray with you if you want. And I says, well, all I can say is, Lord, at 12, I said something, but I don't know if you ever were in my life, but now I want you in my life. And that was the start of it. And from then on, he's just poured it. But the one thing I don't want anybody to get the idea is anything changes the next day. Problems are still there. You just have somebody now you can take the problems to, and he cleans you up as he goes, and you learn to trust him more and more. In fact, the one thing I really suggest to everybody is to read the last 3 chapters of Job. You find out what the Lord does, how he runs the entire world. And when you finally get that he runs the world, he can run up my life. And you fight with him every day and say, I don't like this. And he says, okay, why? And it's a conversation. So that was the first time really. But also Suzanne has her book that at 5, I had a Bible underneath my pillow because I couldn't sleep in the dark. And I would get up at night and read 3 or 4 chapters, didn't know what the hell I was reading, and put the Bible back on, but then I could sleep. So there's been a process that he's had me on ever since I was a kid.
Suzanne, Les has mentioned it a couple times. Can you tell us the title of your book?
Yeah, it's called Lost and Restored, and the subtitle is Healing Your Heart with the Father. I have, like on my website, I can discuss the first chapter. It can be sent off to someone and discuss what the book's about. And they can get it on Amazon as well.
Okay, and we will link all that to the description of this show, and that way you can find that book. Kathleen, Suzanne, Les, brother, thank you all. Thank you all for being part of the miracle. I think Les said it the best, okay? No matter which way you choose to be complete, you've got to remember nothing changes overnight. And if it does, it's probably not worth it. If it's something that you think is going to change overnight, It's a shortcut. Healing is a task. Healing is working. You have to continue to live a better life no matter which way you go. And I love, Les, that you put that out there. That you can't wake up the next morning and everything's perfect. It just doesn't work that way. There are always going to be mornings that you're going to wake up and you're going to go, oh, not again. How are you going to look at the rest of the day, though? That's the important thing. Again, thank you all so very much for being part of the miracle of this season. And we will tag all their information. If you need to get a hold of them, please connect with me, and I will do my best to make connections. But thank you all.
Thank you so much, Very Sad.
Merry Christmas.
Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present. And I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for you.
Okay, everybody. So all of the information that I found, all the YouTube links from the first segment can be found in about 6 minutes. In about 4 minutes on our YouTube channel. So you can go there and you can search through all of those YouTube channels that I used for the reference guide of our inaugural pACT Channel Presents Celebrations of Spirit. We invite you to join us again next month. If you have a celebration coming up in February, come on, tell us about it. I would love to hear your celebrations, how you celebrate, why you celebrate. You know, we know the Valentine's Day is coming up. What else is coming up in February? Well, we're going to tell you the first of next month, the first Monday of next month, when we give you the second edition of the pACT Channel Presents Celebrations of Spirit. I want to thank everybody very much for joining us today. I want to thank Les, Susan, and Kathleen for allowing me to reshare that episode. I just, like I said, Les has been a partner for many years now, and to learn that about him really broke me down. And I appreciate him being vulnerable with us, and I appreciate all of his knowledge and wisdom, and I appreciate their journey into the path of healing that they found. And remember, that's what this show is about: giving people options on how you healed. We're not going to direct anybody on how they should heal. That's up to them. Our goal is to make it available how we healed. When we talk about what we went through, other people can succeed with that knowledge. We should never shut up, because what we're going to say could lead somebody to where they need to be. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. I do want to tell you, by Wednesday, for Community Impact, on Wednesday, we are going to introduce our Mission for Healthy Heroes. So please join us Wednesday at 8 o'clock East, right here on these channels, except for unless you're on the Things Network. We're not on Things Network, but join us on the pACT channel If you need, get a hold of me, use the QR code. Come on, let's celebrate and let's get to work and support our heroes, the men and women who put their lives on hold to make our lives better. Please remember to love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. No one, remember, no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. And if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. We can do this, folks. We need to do this. It's 2026. Our words of the year are us. It's no longer about me. It's no longer about you. It's about us. Let's work together. Let's make lives better by coming together. Thank you very much. We will see you on Wednesday for Community Impact. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.